Well, I want to say good morning to you. Welcome to the Sunday Experience, practical spiritual living. And this is week 2 of living from within. And it's always important to remind us that there is an infinite source that's available to everyone. It's there for each who seek it, no matter their race, gender, or religion. Believe what you may, but know that the source of the universe is also the source of each of us. Therefore, the principle supporting the stars is the principle supporting and available to each of us. As I declare this statement in the first person, I declare for all, I am open and receptive to this divine living principle. Mother, Father, God, I am grateful. This is my declaration. This is my truth. And as I accept it, so it becomes, and all is well and well indeed. Good morning again, and welcome to Unity of Chicago South Beyond Walls Spiritual Community and the Sunday Experience. You might ask, is it a sermon? Is it a class? Is it a lecture? And the response would be, not exactly. It's a live online experience where spiritual principles become living practice. Built for today, built for you, and building together. I'm Reverend R. Ken. Last week, we began our journey considering Jesus' remarkable invitation. The kingdom of God is within you. Now, if that is true, if the kingdom is not merely a destination, but a present reality, then today we take the next step. What does that inner reality actually look like? Well, I'd like to suggest that we start with a simple image. Imagine your inner life as a house. Now, not a perfect house. It's not even a complete or a finished house, but it's a living house. It's the place where your thoughts, my thoughts live, where your thoughts, my thoughts, and memories are stored, where your hopes and my hopes are nurtured, where your fears and my fears sometimes hide. The spiritual journey is learning to become at home in our house. Mm. Now, most of us know every room in our physical home. I know every room and I know what's supposed to be in each room. And I know where the things in the room belong most of the time. And it's easy for you or me to kind of notice when something's out of place, isn't it? Yet, many of us spend far less time being familiar, knowing, becoming friendly with, becoming comfortable with our own inner house. You see, we rush from responsibility to responsibility without even asking, how is it with my soul today? Perhaps one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves, is to simply come home. Mm. Emma Curtis Hopkins wrote, the kingdom of heaven is discovered by consciousness, not by travel. The kingdom of heaven is discovered by consciousness, not by travel. Such a beautiful, beautiful reminder. The spiritual journey isn't measured in miles and how far we've come, of how old we are. It's measured in awareness. An awareness that could come forth at any point in time in our lives. We're never too young to become aware, and we're never too seasoned to become aware. You see, the fact of the matter is that the doorway into the inner house has never been locked. We've never been kept out of going in to the inner house. We've simply, maybe some of us, overlooked its presence. I want you to just for a moment, something we could work with every day this week. Imagine inviting one of your good friends into your home. Now, I don't know if you're like me, I'd have to do a few things first. I'd have to do a little straightening up. I might even have to open the door to let some fresh air in. Well, what if you and I approached our inner life with the same loving attention? Not criticizing what has happened in the past, not judging the fact that we may not have visited for quite some time, but just a simple willingness to notice what might need to be straightened up, what might need a little fresh air, what area in that inner house might need to be revisited. Howard Thurman reminds us, there is in every person an inward sea. Think about that image. Because the sea is vast, the sea is deep. And the sea cannot be understood by standing back on the shore. Our inner house is much the same way. We don't discover it. We don't come upon it by looking from a distance. We don't discover it by talking about it, by sharing an idea with a friend, by listening to a talk, by reading a book. All of those things help us do what is necessary to discover it. We discover it by entering it. And when we enter it, we find that there is a genuine self there. And that self does not shout, it whispers. And we hear it most clearly when we become quiet enough to enter that space. Mm-hmm. The Quaker tradition speaks of the inner light. Early friend George Fox encouraged people to walk cheerfully over the world, answering that of God in everyone. But understand, before we can realize that light in someone else outside of ourselves, we must first become acquainted with it in ourselves so we can identify it when we see it. But you say, Rev, that George Fox said to honor it in everyone. But what are you looking for? What are you trying to honor? What is it that you can see? If you know of it within yourself, it's identifiable in someone else. It's identifiable no matter what their actions are. You know that it's there. You know that there is an inner house. There is an inner spirit. There is an inner divinity within them, just as it is with you. And maybe, just maybe, if that lesson, if that message was spread in our communities and in our cities and in our country, things that are going forward right now might be a little different. If I knew that that which is within me is also within you, no matter how you look, no matter what your shape is, no matter how tall you are, no matter what religion you might practice. Maybe you don't practice any, but it's still there. And we sometimes think, well, how do I get there? How do I know? How do I come in contact with it? Sometimes we think that this spiritual growth is necessary to add something new, but think about it. It's already there. It's already been there. So it's not anything we can add to it. There's no more knowledge we can give to it. It's not a book that we can read. It's like we talked about the sea. It's something we must enter. It's not just practices for the sake of practices. It's an understanding that whatever I do is to enter. I don't read to become more intellectual. I don't practice to become more spiritual. I do all of these things, all of these activities, so that I may quiet myself and enter my own inner house. But perhaps today's invitation is different. Perhaps Spirit is asking us to become more attentive to what already is present. Think about that. There was a series years ago, and the guy went around giving away large sums of money. And I think it's been brought back in different formats where people go around giving somebody something. And we think about, wow, I know I did as a kid. Boy, if I had that money, man. But there's a metaphysical lesson in that I certainly didn't know then. You couldn't tell anybody that you had received this tremendous gift. You had to proceed as if you had it without telling anybody that you had it. And that's the way of this inner house that we're talking about. That's the way of this inner spirit. That's the way of the source of us. It's there. It's always been there. And if you go through life not talking about it, but being about it, your life changes. See, it's not a new house that we need to build, but we need to accept the fact that it's always been there and decide, I'm going to go live there. I'm going to go reside there. I'm going to go at least visit there. How do we do it? Well, let's just take a simple practice for this week. Not a major, not read anything, not study anything. Just do something a little different. I know many of you meditate and you have practices, you read and you get quiet for a few minutes. But I'm saying just change it just a little bit, add to it just a slight bit. And before you start anything, before the prayer, before the meditation, before the reading, just take 5 minutes each day before you start, with no agenda other than centering your mind on the presence, whatever you call it. Don't make a request. Put your phone on silent and just ask this simple question. What room of my inner house is asking for my attention today? What room in my inner house is asking for my attention today? And just rest in that question and allow it to, as an in-law used to say, marinate for a minute, for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and accept the fact that the guidance will come if we but be quiet enough to hear as we listen. Mhm. You know, we do something here, and every week I feel like I don't need to explain it. Everybody knows. But the fact of the matter is, there's a new person that's just coming into this practice, this teaching, this presentation, and they say, "Well, I'm not sure." So, with something we call soul inquiry, and the way this soul inquiry works is that we ask that inner house, we ask the permanent resident of that inner house, the one that's always been there, came with the house, cannot be moved out the house. We ask the question. That's the soul inquiry. And the second part of it is after we ask the question, we leave it alone, knowing that an answer will come, as they used to say in the old days, by and by. We don't put any restrictions on it. In other words, we don't say it needs to happen today, tomorrow, this week, this second. We simply ask the question, allow it to lay, and expect that an answer will come in due time. And the soul inquiry for this week is this: what steps can I, can me, can self take to let more of the peace that's a part of my inner house express in my life experience? Mm. And just allow it to sit. See, I know that this place, the Rev said this place was peaceful. And if I read all of the religions, most of the religions, let us say, they all say that there's something within me. They say it in different ways, but they say there's something within me. And that within me is a place of wholeness and peace and all knowing. And I just want to ask it right now, what can I do to allow more of your peace to express in my life experience? Mm. You know, Jesus invited us to discover the kingdom within. And today we've taken another step by entering the inner house. Next week we'll ask another question. If this sacred house is already within us, what keeps us from seeing it? Until then, may you return often to that quiet place within. May you discover that you are never alone when you're there. And may the peace you cultivate in your inner house become the peace that you carry into the world. And so it is. Now I invite you to include yourself in the continuation of the Sunday experience with what we call Sunday conversation. It starts after we take a short pause, about 5 minutes. We hear from some people that they found us on one of the many social platforms we live stream from each week, or live stream to each week. They asked us about the exchange of ideas, and our answer is always the same. Text Sunday to 564-234-2890 to receive a link and an invitation to our Microsoft Team platform, or visit our website at unityocs.org. Now you can text right away, right now, and join today's Sunday's conversation. But for those of you that are not able to stay for the rest of today's Sunday experience, on behalf of the Unity of Chicago South, Beyond Walls, New Thought Spiritual Community, I extend namaste. I behold the Christ in your inner house. We will continue after a short break. Welcome to Sunday Conversations. Yeah. What keeps us from living from within? Hmm. Last week we explored spiritual freedom. And today, the question on the table becomes, if divine presence truly dwells within us, why is it so difficult to live from that place, from that awareness? That we look at three windows with our Sunday conversation. We look through the scriptural window, we look through the psychological window, and we definitely look through the new thought window. So today's focus of what keeps us from living from within, if we accept the fact that there is something within us, we start with what one of the New Thought writers, mystics, Joel Goldsmith, suggests. And that is that our awareness of the divine grows through stillness rather than striving. Let's take a deep look at that. Our awareness of that inner divinity, that Christ's consciousness grows. Okay, so it's there. Not saying it's not there, but it grows as we learn the lessons of stillness rather than working hard. I gotta get it, gotta make it happen. So when you think about it that way, how does that challenge the way that our culture, the way that our world actually encourages us to live? That's a real question. Now, we would love to have you on our platform on Teams, Microsoft Teams. And of course, we give you many ways that you can join us on that platform by calling or texting or either going to our website. But even when you're not on it, the question is still something that you can ponder wherever you are. How does that not agree with how culture, how society tells us we should live? So it's in the stillness that we grow in the awareness. It's in the stillness that we grow in the awareness. Now, does that mean that we don't strive? Does that mean we don't want things? It's not that at all. It means in that inner house, that to grow my awareness and the potency that it has for me to apply to everyday living, I must become still. The stiller I become in my effort to connect with it, the more it can come forth. Now you may have, and I ask you to ask yourself this question, and of course it's open to share if you would like, but when have you experienced a moment of stillness and just something happened and you said, whoa, I was just being quiet. I wasn't even trying to find the answer and it just came to me. Has it ever happened to you in your life? Ponder that. If it ever has, there's an example of how stillness, how taking yourself, your thoughts, your ideas out of it and allowing it to come forth, that energy, that knowledge, that wisdom, that omniscience to come forth. And it does. And it does. Today's second window is our psychological window, our psychology window. Again, we're still focusing on what keeps us from living from within. Oh, there's so many bills to pay. There's so many issues to address. There's so many things to do. There's so many deadlines to make. And this is where it sometimes gets confusing for people. Those are distractions from developing a stronger connection with our inner house, our inner self, but at the same time, they are necessary. I believe scripture tells you, give to Caesar what is Caesar's and give to God what is God. So there's a time that you have to address those things like the bills and like the events. But then there are times when those distractions cannot be allowed to come in because your job, your effort is to connect with your inner self. Have you ever felt that you just put everything aside no matter what the problem was? And you just got quiet and all of a sudden something happened? Boy, I'd love if you were on platform so you could share that with us. What else prevents us? Who do we identify? How do we identify? Am I a woe in life? Or am I connected to something greater than me that I realize that I am? Because when I identify that way, I am opening the door for more awareness to that inner house. And boy, someone sent me something, doesn't matter who it was, and it was about something that they practice or a church that they go to. And I listened for a few minutes, and then the person said, separation. I don't need to tell you exactly what was said. They quoted some scriptures and they talked about how there are these people and then there are those people. Those people, I have a negative bias toward them. See, they're not like us. You might remember that Super Bowl piece. They're not like us. But the truth of the matter is, they are us and we are them. And if we can lose that negativity bias about them and about life itself, it changes our relationship. Because that's what it's all about. Remember, we're not trying to create something new. We're just talking about developing more awareness with that inner house, that inner omniscience. And then finally, it's what stories are we telling ourselves? This is inhibiting. Think about the stories that you tell yourself. Oh, woe is me. Oh, I did this then. I am that now because I did this then. I'm not worthy. And then those will help us to let us know we're not worthy. And in that example I gave where I received that information and the lesson was separation, that in itself is a negativity that we're putting in us. I don't care if we're the greater and they're the lesser. I'm not recognizing the God in them. I'm not recognizing the spirit in them. But when I can recognize it and say, you know, within you is what's within me, but you've chose to do something different with it. You see, the stories that I can tell myself begin to change too. So the question becomes for you to ponder, which do you think is the greatest influence on this inner life or our circumstances in life? What do you think is the greatest impact on when we talk about this inner house? Is it the circumstances that we encounter on a daily basis, or is it the stories we tell ourselves about the circumstances? Think about it. I wish you were on the platform with us. I'd love to hear your input right now. I'd love to hear the wisdom that you can share right now. Can you think of a belief that you've carried about yourself that if you really, really, really gave it some thought, you could say, you know, that thought about me no longer serves me, the me I am right now. I'd love to hear what you would say. I'd love to hear the wisdom that you would share by answering that question if you were here on the platform with us. And then we talk about the scriptural window that we look through. The scriptural window that we look through to why can I not live from that inner house? We go to Luke. We told about a visit that Jesus made to the home of two sisters, Martha and Mary. And Martha's busy around the house. She's got food going. She's taking care of the household. And Mary's sitting there at Jesus' feet, listening to his teachings. Then Martha becomes very frustrated and asks Jesus, please tell Mary to come on and help me. And Jesus says, well, you know, Martha, you worry and distracted by so many things. There is need of only one thing. Mary has chosen to be the better part, and it will not be taken away from her. Now, what does that mean? Metaphysically, we understand that Jesus was not criticizing Martha's service or not putting Mary up on a pedestal. He was pointing out that busyness without centeredness can disconnect us from what matters most. You know, I just being busy for the sake of being busy, you know, I just got to move. I just got to be busy. The elders from the past knew what to tell us as kids, the children. We run around, and they say, sit your butt down. Get quiet. And they were telling us without us knowing it that if you get quiet, you're going to find something that's awesome. And it's going to come from within you. It's not going to come from running over there and running over here and jumping and running. It's going to come if you just get quiet, trying to teach us a lesson that if we only understood and carried forth with us in life, wow. But many of us are like Martha, distracted. And we really want to be like Mary and be present. So right now, I ask you to ask yourself this question. Which one represents your life today? Wow. What is distracting you from more awareness of your deeper self? That's a real question. And I could answer it for myself. Worry. Not focusing on the moment. I can name a couple of things. Can you name one or two things that keeps you distracted from developing more awareness? Is it fear? Is it just being busy? Is it the phone? Technology? Some would say that definitely is one of my issues. Is it expectations God's supposed to do? Is it that I'm so busy being successful that I don't have time to develop? Or is it my past, the pains and the hurts and the wounds of my past that won't allow me to go and to trust that there's something in me that's so good. It's better than I've ever expressed, and it will allow me to enter into that space no matter what I've done because it is my home. Hmm. Those are questions that whatever platform you're on, I hope you've taken a note or two down and ask yourself, because this is about exchange. And I wish you were here to share your wisdom. Text us so you can get an invitation and a link so you can be a part of the sharing. 564 234 2890. 564 234 2890. And now we come to that part that I love so much, the part that can help us connect, help us become more aware, help us consciously connect to that inner house, that inner presence. Ask yourself this on your soul inquiry. Say, well, what's a soul inquiry? I just got here. It's simply this. We ask that which is within us the question, and then we sit ourselves down. We do like the elders who used to tell us, go sit down. We sit down and wait. We don't sit in a chair, but we sit down by quieting ourselves and moving away from the question and allowing it to come forth, an answer to come forth in due time. And the inquiry today, the soul inquiry is, what is one thing, not a bunch, what is one thing I could release this week to become more available to the presence already within me? So I'm asking the presence, help me, tell me, what's one thing I can do so I can be more available to what you're trying to do, live through me, express through me? What is one thing I can release? And then I wait. I move on with my life. I do this or that. I know that the answer is going to come. And if I'm quiet enough, I will hear the answer. I want to thank you for being with us on this part of the Sunday Experience. This is called the Sunday Conversations. It is intended to have a conversation. So join us on our Microsoft platform, Teams platform, so you can engage and share some of that beautiful wisdom that you have out there. But right now, this is Reverend Arkin saying that on behalf of Unity OCS, Unity of Chicago South, Beyond Wall Spiritual Community, I thank you so much for bringing your consciousness, no matter how far you are away, no matter what platform you are on. I thank you for bringing your consciousness to this space. And I say to you, continue to develop your inner house, knowing that the source of all there is resides there and lovingly welcomes you to enter at any time. You don't even have to wipe your feet. Until next time, namaste.